There are some clothes that no matter how much you want or think you need them, you're guaranteed to regret buying them. So let's make today the day to end those fashion mistakes once and for all. Hi, I'm Leonie and welcome to my channel. Now you might be surprised to find out that some of the most basic pieces you buy will be the pieces that you wear the least. And the reason for this is even the basics, if they're not right for you, they'll never get worn. So today I'm sharing 10 items that you should stop buying, or at very least, think long and hard before you start reaching for your credit card. Before we jump into those pieces, I would love for you to come and follow me on Instagram. I've just started posting daily fashion content over there and I wouldn't want you to miss out on it. So I will leave a link to my Instagram account in the description box below. If you're on the platform, I would love for you to come and give me a follow. Now first up, this is one that I see happening time and time again, and that is getting caught up in the excitement of a label that may be having a bit of a moment. Now, essentially, I'm sure you'll know what I mean here. You may be scrolling online and you keep seeing a particular item or a particular designer's pieces appearing on maybe influencers that you follow or people that you know, and it sort of brings up not necessarily FOMO, but just this feeling of, oh, if I also have one of these pieces, then I'm going to look as cool as that person or be able to create more outfits. And often we get sort of swept up in the emotion of it without really thinking about whether that outfit is going to be, or that piece is going to be right for us. And I know this has happened to me with the label Anine Bing. It's a label that I absolutely love, and I do own a number of pieces that I wear on repeat and will love for years to come. But what I have found is that for me, I can quite easily get swept up in some of the hype of a particular Anine Bing piece, especially if she releases a new collection. And what I have found that I've done is I've bought pieces that I own something very similar anyway, that I really wasted my money buying it. I got swept up in the hype of that label and that brand, and I think FOMO almost took over, and I bought something that I didn't really need and didn't really add to my wardrobe. So my first piece that I think we need to really think carefully about before we spend our money is those labels that are having a moment, those designers and those brands that are just kind of everywhere. It won't generally last, and it's too easy to get swept up and buy on emotion. So do what I'm doing now and try very hard to keep yourself in check and be aware that that may be happening to you also in the background. Now next up, and I expect this one to be controversial, and that is expensive jewelry. And I know we've always said in the past that if you find something of great quality that you love, then it's worth paying a little bit more and making that investment. Now the only thing that I do find, certainly with me, is that I have some amazing, expensive pieces of jewelry that I just very rarely reach for. And I think what tends to happen for me these days is that accessories become a really easy and cost-effective way to update an outfit. And for that reason, some of those timeless pieces that I have bought and spent a lot of money on over the years, I just don't reach for them as much. So if nothing else, this point is just a kind of a word of warning that sometimes costume jewelry and pieces that aren't costing you the earth are going to kind of give you more value. They're going to help you update your outfits and make you feel a little bit more modern, as opposed to some of those pieces that you have invested a lot of money in. Now, I'm not saying don't go and buy those or discard some of those pieces, because they are keepers, they are lifelong pieces. And even if you only wear them a couple of times, you know that you love them. Some of them are sentimental, whatever it may be. But all I'm saying is that you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of money and buy top quality pieces to to look good. And at this point, I'd just like to say a very big thank you to the team at Squarespace for sponsoring this portion of today's episode. Now, Squarespace is, in my opinion, the easiest way to build any sort of online platform. And in fact, it has been my go-to for years. Squarespace also has some really cool new AI features that are definitely worth checking out. There's a new guided design system called Squarespace Blueprint, and it makes setting up your own website and personalizing it extra easy. Squarespace also offers optimized SEO tools so your website shows up more often in searches, which is what everyone wants to help them grow fast and be seen by more people. It seems there's nothing a Squarespace site can't do these days. Perhaps maybe choose your outfits, but who knows, maybe they're working on that too. But I'm delighted to say that the team at Squarespace are offering you a 10% discount off your first website or domain. Now, what I suggest you do is whip on over to squarespace.com, take advantage of the free trial. When you're ready to launch yourself, then simply use my unique URL, which is squarespace.com/The Style Insider, and my discount code, which is simply The Style Insider, and that will give you the opportunity to take advantage of that discount. So I will leave a link to Squarespace in the description box below and some more information. But definitely, if you are looking to launch yourself online, Squarespace is the easiest way to do it. Now, this one is always a bit of a trap, and most of us get caught in this from time to time, and that is buying sale items. And generally speaking, you can often get an absolute bargain when something is on sale. But what I always suggest is only buy things on sale that you would pay full price for, or that perhaps they've been on your wish list and it's a piece that you know you're going to wear and love for years to come. That's the only time that I truly believe that it is worth buying something on sale. Now, don't get me wrong, I love saving money, and I really rarely like paying, well, I never like paying full retail. I always try and get a bargain. But I do think we have to be careful when it comes to sale items, because they're super tempting and you think you're getting a bargain and you almost talk yourself into that piece, as opposed to really sitting back and thinking, is it really going to serve me? So beware of those sale items. And that leads in really nicely to my next item that we need to be careful with buying, and that is trend pieces. Now, I talk a lot on this channel about trends, and I love following fashion trends, but I do think you need to be careful and ask yourself the question at the beginning of a new season, is this trend right for me? Now, you may love it, it may suit you, but if it doesn't work for your day-to-day lifestyle, you're going to spend money on a trend piece and hardly get anywhere out of it. And for me, that is where we often fall into the trap of spending money on items that are just not right for us. Now, it doesn't mean that they're not going to suit us, but it just means it's not right for our day-to-day lives. So we won't get that cost per wear. And for me, I think it's important to get a bit of a decent return on my fashion investments. So think really carefully about trend items and maybe do a little bit of homework before you push play and buy something quickly. Think about how you're going to work some of those trend pieces into some existing outfits, or how you're going to update some of those existing outfits to make them look a little bit more modern or on trend. But just tread really carefully when it comes to a new season and a whole lot of new trends. Now, next up is to try and avoid buying pieces that you already own multiples of. And when I was doing my styling sessions, I would go into women's wardrobes and they would have something but maybe 10 pairs. I do specifically remember going into one woman's wardrobe and she had 10 pairs, might have even been 11 pairs of black trousers. And really, most of us, if black pants are your thing, you probably only need 2 pairs. One to wear with heels, one to wear with flats, just so that the hem length is right for each. You don't need that many pairs. And I think sometimes we just fall into the trap of buying more than we need because we know that that piece is going to work. It's almost like a comfort factor thing. So be really careful not to waste your money on buying pieces that you already have something very similar and you're not going to get that cost per wear out of buying yet another pair of black pants or another striped t-shirt. So just be careful when it comes to buying the same thing that you already own, probably more than enough of. And next up are those feel-good pieces that we buy. And you know what that's like if we're kind of feeling a little bit flat, or we've got a little bit of FOMO because we've seen someone else looking amazing and it sort of spurs us into buying a few new pieces for ourselves. And generally these pieces are not well thought out. We haven't taken the time to really ask ourselves whether we're going to be able to build new outfits with them, whether they'll work back with pieces that we already own. So they're kind of the feel-good pieces where we tend to buy them on a whim, and we're buying them from emotion as opposed to being thoughtful and practical. Now, of course, sometimes we can absolutely get this right, but more often than not, it's a bit of a trap that we fall into. So the easiest way to avoid this is just to sort of check yourself and make sure that you're not shopping for fashion for all the wrong reasons. Make sure that it's not just an emotional fix that you're after that you could potentially find somewhere else, because ultimately what we're trying to achieve is making sure that you don't have a closet full of clothes and nothing to wear. So in checking yourself and avoiding some of these emotional purchases will definitely work well to avoiding trouble like that further down the track. Now, I have talked about this before, but be very careful not to be inspired by your favorite online fashion influencers or people that you perhaps see on the street and buy pieces that would work beautifully for them. You think that you can buy them and they'll look amazing, but perhaps you don't have the rest of the pieces or even the lifestyle that's going to back up that look. And sometimes it's easy. You'll buy a piece, you'll think it'll be the answer to all of your fashion woes, and then you almost don't even have the courage to wear it. It makes you kind of feel nervous because you perhaps stand out. All I'm saying is that you have to be really careful that you are shopping and buying and planning pieces for you, not your fantasy self, as I've talked about before, not the person that you would perhaps like to present to the world, the person that you are and the pieces that are going to make you feel good in your everyday life. Just be really careful that you're not shopping for that fantasy self. Now, one of the biggest fashion regrets that I often see, and I have also fallen into this trap, is those late night impulse buys. Now, you might be lying in bed and you're constantly being served ads, whether you're watching YouTube or scrolling Instagram, and it's almost like it captures you at a weak moment when you're tired and you're even relaxed, and you kind of make a purchase, an impulse buy without really thinking it through. What I do find is that I also fall into this trap, not necessarily with fashion items, but when I wake up in the morning, when I'm fresh and have a clear head, I think, what on earth did I buy that for? It's just a waste. So what I do now is make sure that I put something in my wish list or take a screenshot of the item and really revisit it in the morning when I can think clearly and be a little bit more sensible about those purchases. But I think it's a real trap that many of us fall into, those late night impulse buys. They're, in my experience at least, not always a very good idea, but let me know what you think about this one. I definitely find this one a trap for me that I have to work the hardest on. But do you fall into the same trap? Do you kind of get wowed by something late at night when you're scrolling online that you wouldn't otherwise buy? Let me know in the comments below if this has happened to you and what you actually bought. Now, last but not least, one of the things that we used to say in fashion was, if you find a piece that you love, then buy it in every color. Now, I get where this is kind of coming from, but I do think that it's old-fashioned and it's outdated. I would probably say buy maybe 2 colors, but if you buy up every color imaginable, I can guarantee you that you will get sick of this particular style well before you get the wear out of every piece that you've bought, and you'll definitely end up wasting your money buying these pieces. So don't fall into this trap. Maybe buy 1 or 2 pieces, but you don't need the same thing in every single color. There are plenty of options out there, and it's not that hard to find pieces that really work for us. So if you want to create a wardrobe that gives you lots of different options, then definitely don't do this. Oh, and hey there, this is Leonie from the future. I'm just about to start editing the video that you have just watched, but I wanted to say that I am about to launch something really exciting, something that I've been working on for quite a few months now, and I would love you to be the first to know about it. So it's all going to happen really soon. So I'm leaving a link in the description box below so that you can click that and join my email list, and I will send you an email. Don't worry, I'm not going to spam you, but I will send you an email when I can share my exciting news. So don't miss out on this. It's super fun, it's all about fashion, and I'm sure you're going to love it. So click the link in my description box below, so I'll shoot you an email and tell you all about it when it is live, and it's happening really soon. Anyway, thanks for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed it, and here's another video of mine that you might also enjoy too. Anyway, bye-bye.